How is it going, good people of YouTube? Welcome to another concept series episode. Now, this concept series episode is kind of a little idea that I had, and the idea is, what if you took Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare and you pushed it to its full potential? And that's what this is here today. That's what I have for you folks here today. The name of it would be called Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare Eternal Reckoning. So imagine Undead Nightmare as a standalone AAA title built in the Red Dead Redemption 2 engine. Vast, immersive, and terrifying. No longer a 6 to 8 hour DLC, this is a full 40-plus hour open-world survival horror epic blending the original's zombie Wild West charm with Red Dead Redemption 2's depth. Supernatural lore and modern mechanics, it's non-canon, of course, set in an alternate timeline where the Aztec Mask's curse spirals into a multi-monster apocalypse, fusing zombies with vampires, werewolves, skinwalkers, ghosts, and alien horrors teased in Red Dead Redemption 2. You play as John Marston in the early game and Jack Marston in the late game, with playable cameos from Sadie Adler, Charles Smith, and an undead Arthur Morgan as an ally. Rockstar's full potential vision would be a hyperbolic fun meets soul-crushing horror. Liberate towns, build survival fortresses, hunt mythical beasts, and unravel a conspiracy tying the plague to ancient native curses and government experiments. Dynamic weather spawns mega hordes, moral choices reshape the world, and every bullet counts in an ammo-starved apocalypse. So, the story. The prologue would be called John's Fall. One stormy night at Beecher's Hope, Uncle rises as Patient Zero. Bitten during a grave-robbing heist with Seth, he infects Abigail and Jack. John hog-ties them and rides out, mirroring the original but expanded. Clear Blackwater. You would have Zombie Nastas as a boss fight. Zombie Nastas is the Native American man that you meet when you return to Blackwater after you finish the Mexico part of Red Dead Redemption 1. Confront snake oil peddler Nigel West Dickens, now a mad scientist brewing mutagens. And Seth, guarding the mask in a mine in Mexico. Kill Undead Reyes, the mask's goddess Teotl reveals its one of 5 artifacts, that of which being Aztec, Native American, European, which is the vampires, and 2 cosmic, which is the aliens and the UFOs. Returning it fails, the curse evolves, birthing hybrid monsters. Act 1, John's Quest, which is 15 hours. Traverse New Austin and Nuevo Periso. Ally with Bonnie McFarlane, who is a fort-building expert, Marshal John, who is a trained convoy leader, and Mother Superior, who is a holy relic hunter now. So some of the side stories. You can hunt Sasquatches, which is now a dying race pleading for mercy. Rescue Millicent from a vampire nest, and Millicent is the character that you save when you do your first ever missing persons quest in Undead Nightmare, the original Undead Nightmare. She's a girl that you rescue. Or mercy kill a zombified or potentially vampiric or werewolf-like Landon Ricketts, depending on vampiric or werewolf, depending on the choices you decide to make in the game. Act 2, Jack's Rise, which is 15 hours. John dies heroically defending Beecher's Hope, which is a playable siege. Revived as a Holy Revenant, like the epilogue Easter egg. In the epilogue, after John Marston breaks the curse in the original Undead Nightmare, he resurrects as a Revenant. Buried with holy water, switch to adult Jack, voiced by a grizzled actor, potentially like, I don't know, Jason Momoa or something, or I don't know. Scarred and vengeful, recruit Sadie, who is a vampire hunter, Charles, who is a werewolf trapper, and Undead Arthur, who is a summonable spectral companion, and you can also summon his horse to ride. They are summoned via a grave ritual. Explore Red Dead Redemption 2's map, which has Blackwater overrun by ghost trains, Saint Denis as a vampire hive, and Annisburg as which is skinwalker infested. Next up we have Act 3, which is 10 plus hours. Massive Alliance assaults Necropolis. Necropolis is a Massive Alliance assaults Necropolis, which is a new cursed super city blending Blackwater ruins and thieves landing docks. There's multiple endings, so you can cure the world, which is the high honor ending, or you can become the new Plague Lord, which is a low honor ending, or you can seal the artifacts in a limbo realm, which is a neutral ending. So some of the themes here is redemption in undeath, humanity's fragility, Wild West myths colliding with 100+ voiced survivors with branching dialogues, stuff like that. It's pretty cool, Next up we have open world and exploration. So open world and exploration. So it's a massive map which merges Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, which is 5 times the original size, plus some new biomes like a fog-shrouded Roanoke swamps, which contains ghosts, and irradiated Gorma-like isles with mutant zombies, as well as UFO crash sites in Big Valley. Some of the dynamic events. So there's nighttime mega hordes that can have up to 1,000 zombies to fight. There's werewolf full moons and vampire fog banks. During the day, you scavenge ruins and hunt legendary creatures. And then during the night, it becomes a bit more difficult, and it becomes like hell. Survival loop, there's an infection meter, so you can cure with herbs/holy water, or you can mutate for buffs like a zombie sprint and stuff like that. There's a hunger and thirst affects accuracy. Weather, so some of the weather, there's blizzards freeze zombie solid, Storms spawn lightning undead, stuff like that. Some of the bases and convoys, there's 50 plus towns. You can claim 50 plus towns. Expanded liberation, so you can assign jobs, you can upgrade walls and guns, you can roam armor, you can do roaming and armored trains as mobile hubs and stuff like that. So some of the gameplay mechanics. So there is deep Red Dead Redemption 2 systems, as well as horror twists. So let's get into some of the mechanics. So, combat. So in the original Undead Nightmare, you could do headshots for zombies. You could headshot zombies, they would die instantly. You could use a blunderbuss that would just absolutely explode the zombies, and you would use zombie body parts to load it. There's holy water and bait, undead bait. So some of the full potential upgrades. So the full potential upgrade, Deadeye would mark weak points on the body of the enemies that you're shooting. You could craft silver bullets for werewolves, UV lanterns for vampires, ghost traps, melee combos with lassos and chainsaws, and boss arenas with the 4 horsemen that you can also rematch. And there would also be replayable missions, like you could replay missions just like in Red Dead Redemption 2. You could replay the missions. Some of the weapons, so in the original there was 5 new weapons, the blunderbuss, the holy water, and the torch, as well as a few other ones, or a couple other ones. Can't remember which ones those were. It's been a minute since I played. In the full potential upgrade, there would be 30 plus craftable weapons. So there would be zombie gut grenades, boom bait launchers, electric cattle prods, golden mythical arms, unicorn, so like a unicorn horse rifle, or horn rifle, which is the golden mythical armament, golden mythical weapon. There's a dual wield, and there's weapon degradation. It's weapon, well, not really weapon degradation, it's just weapon degradation in the, like in Red Dead Redemption 2, where you have to clean your gun and all that, otherwise it doesn't shoot with the same amount of damage and whatnot. Some of the enemies, so there's walkers, bruisers, retchers, and animals. The walkers are the typical, zombie that runs at you and whatnot. The bruisers are this is in the original, by the way, the bruisers are the heavy zombies. They're the heavy zombies that like charge at you and football tackle you. The retchers spit glowing green puke at you, or acid at you, I guess you could say, and then they explode when they die. So some of the full potential upgrades, there is 20 plus different types of enemies like armored knights, flying harpies, possessed trains, UFO drones. As the bosses, you have a Mega Sasquatch and a Dracula-possessed Reyes that you have to fight, and then eventually you fight Dracula himself. The mounts, so in the original Undead Nightmare there was 4 apocalypse horses, so war, famine, death, and pestilence. I don't know why I had to think about that. Full potential upgrades, there is 12 mythical mounts, like a Skinwalker wolf or a ghost buffalo, and you can tame undead variants. So, undead variants like undead horses, but also undead bears that you can ride and whatnot, and, attack with them. It's pretty cool. So you can upgrade with different parts. So the war horse will breathe fire and whatnot, and you can also give him different abilities, via skill points. So maybe he can do like a fire trail where as he runs, whatever is behind him is lit on fire temporarily, stuff like that. So next up we have activities. So in the original Undead Nightmare, you had town defense as well as clearing graveyards of undead, and then you had missing persons missions where you had to locate missing persons and rescue them. In the full potential upgrades, there would be base raids. You could raid fortified bases. There would be artifact hunts. You hunt mythical artifacts. There would be survivor poker, which could potentially be interrupted by zombies attacking your base. There would be photo hunts where you have to photograph certain creatures, and then you'll get trophies, and whatnot, in-game game trophies from it. There would be legendary beast bounties with parts that can grant you parts for god tier gear, god tier weapons and whatnot, and clothing. So some of the traversal, so in the original Undead Nightmare there was no fast travel, but you also had your horse whistle, so you're riding around on your horse a lot. In the full potential upgrade, there would be train networks, hot air balloons, zombie-proof wagons, and eagle eye reveals hidden crypts. Stuff like that. There's a lot of traversal potential, and it's pretty cool. Zombie-proof wagons and riding on trains. It's pretty cool. So crafting and progression. So you can dismantle zombie parts, and you can use zombie eyes for bait. There's skill trees, so different skill trees like the gunslinger, which allows for your Deadeye, and it would be Red Dead Redemption 2 style, so you could upgrade your Deadeye, you could upgrade, your ability to, shoot guns, Survivor, so there's traps and foraging, so you can craft traps and forage for different things in the world, so that's a good one. The final skill tree is the Revenant, which gives you undead powers post the act where you play as John. Stuff like that. There could be for some of the Revenant powers, it could be you could summon an undead to help you fight. You could summon, or you could resurrect dead foes, stuff like that. Maybe you could cast some unholy stuff, unholy magics. So some horror elements, there would be a sanity meter, there would be hallucinations that is directly tied to your infection meter that I talked about earlier. So there's dynamic audio, so there's, when you're near a boss, there's heartbeats that will go off when you are near a boss, and it's kind of, it's really, really bad. You don't want to be near a boss if you're not prepared to fight that boss. And then there could potentially be some permadeath mechanics, depending on what you play on. If you play on the hardcore mode, there could be permadeath for you and your allies and your companions, potentially. Alright, next up we have a multiplayer. So, There's a co-op campaign with a 4-player story mode, and that you can revive with holy water. You know, stuff like that. There's an Undead Overrun 2.0, so it's 16 players. 16 players versus escalating waves of up to 5,000 zombies. And there's different maps like the Saint Denis Siege or the Blackwater Bayou. And you gotta just survive. You know, you gotta survive with up to 16 players. There is PvPVZ. So teams will build forts. They can raid each other amid hordes, and there's also free roam posse survival. You know, so it's kind of a PvP as well as a PvZ environment, player versus zombie environment. So new features and polish. So there is, it has the Red Dead Redemption 2 fidelity with a 4K with 60 FPS with ray traced nights. Dynamic fur and decomposition on zombies. There's dynamic fur as well as decomposition on zombies. There's a full mocap and voice for 200 plus characters, stuff like that. There's a photo mode that has undead filters, as well as you can pose survivors for dioramas and stuff like that. There's a new game plus, which makes the plagues harder. However, all of your gear is carried over from the original game, or from the game that you just got done playing. There's a collector's edition with an Aztec mask statue that lights up. There's an Undead Arthur figurine, as well as a digital soundtrack with zombie moans. So some of the post-launch stuff, there would be free Horde events, as well as a paid story DLC, which includes Sadie versus vampires, stuff like that. And that's everything. That's the concept. Let me know what you guys think of this one, leave a comment, as well as like and subscribe. This was kind of one that I've been wanting to do for a minute now, and yeah, I just thought I'd get it done. But that's everything. You folks have a good one. Peace.